welcome to More Time in the Kitchen. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a spicy Korean pork bento box. Now before anybody says, you know bento boxes aren't Korean, they're Japanese. Yes, I know that bento boxes are a traditional Japanese way of presenting lunches, but in modern times the definition has possibly changed a little bit to being a hobby or an art form where you take any sort of food and present it in a visually appealing way in a lunchbox. That would be my personal definition of a bento box anyway. And if you look on sites like Instagram, you can see that there is a massive global community of people making bento boxes, and it can range from really technical things like karaben to more sort of basic stuff but still, you know, visually appealing, where people are just making their daily lunches, and that's the sort of thing that I do. You also get a lot of vegan and vegetarian bento boxes as well, and you know, there's quite a big community on Instagram, probably other sites as well, but Instagram's where I get sort of most of my inspiration, and I feel like sort of support as well, even from people that, you know, I can't talk to directly because we don't speak the same language, but it's quite a nice sort of little community there. So coming off the idea that you can put any type of cuisine into a bento box or any mix of cuisines into a bento box, I like the idea that you could sort of represent global cuisines, you know, in the form of a bento box, or sort of your interpretation of them. So I've done a Mexican one in the past, I've done a kind of Italian one in the past as well, and obviously in this video I'm going to be doing a Korean one. And it's an idea that I'd kind of like to keep going, I'd like to do more in the future. So if that's something that you like the idea of as well, then please let me know in the comments, or just, you know, give us a like if you don't have time. Or if you don't like the idea, you can tell me where to stick my bento boxes in the comments as well. That is allowed, it is a free internet. Anyway, that being said, let's get cooking. So the actual spicy pork recipe itself is really quite simple, with only 6 main ingredients, 2 of which are actually optional. So your first ingredient is 500 grams of pork. I've got belly pork here, and that's my favourite kind of pork to make this recipe with. You can use a leaner cut if you wish, and you just want to cut up your pork into bite-sized chunks. Next, you'll need 1 large or 2 small onions. You'll also need 2 tablespoons of gochujan, or Korean hot pepper paste. This is similar to miso but is very spicy, and it's available in most Asian supermarkets. 2 teaspoons of sugar, and as optional garnishes you'll need 1 or 2 spring onions and a sprinkling of sesame seeds. You'll also need some prepared sticky rice. Now the amount that I've got there for 4 portions is 1.5 cups of dry rice. To go on the side, you'll also need some kimchi. Now I've got this kind of weird purple kimchi that I've made myself from red cabbage. You can get the recipe for that in the description below or at the end, but you don't need to make it yourself, and you also don't need purple kimchi. You can get regular kimchi at an Asian supermarket. So those are going to combine to make the main filling of the bento box, but at the end I'll be showing you some extra little decorations and additions to the box to fill it up and make it look a bit more visually appealing. But to keep things simple, I'll leave that till the end. So we're going to start by getting our pan really hot. I'm talking Chris Hemsworth, I'm talking Tom Hiddleston, whichever you prefer. I'm a Hiddlestoner myself, and we're going to put the pork in first. So in it goes. Good sizzle going on there. You just want to spread it around the pan so it's all evenly spaced. Now if you've got belly pork with a lot of fat on it, You don't need to add in any oil first. If you've got a leaner cut, you might want to put just a drizzle of oil on the bottom so that it doesn't stick. Now we're going to let those cook for 2 or 3 minutes or until they're golden, and then we're going to flip them over and do the same on the other side. And you should get some really nice caramelization on there. We're then going to add in the onions and let them cook until softened. You're then going to add in your 2 tablespoons of gochujan. If it'll come off the spoon. You're also going to add in a tablespoon or 2 of water. That's just to help the gochujan sort of form a sauce. Lastly, we're going to add in our sugar, and interestingly, the sugar will actually make the spice, the chili, less spicy. That's a general tip for anything. If you make something too spicy, try adding a little sugar, and that should bring it down a little bit. Oh, a spoonful of sugar helps the spiciness come down in the most delightful way. And that's the spicy pork done. Simple as that. So I've portioned off my rice and my pork into 4 separate bento boxes, and I've got one here to show you as an example. And I've also added in my purple kimchi and half of a boiled egg, which I've just cut the base off of so that it doesn't roll around in the bento box. Now you'll notice that I've got a little bit of space there in between the halved egg and the pork. So when you're making bento boxes, you don't really want any blank spaces, and that's partly for aesthetics, and it's also partly because you don't want your ingredients moving around in there and spilling and coming out of place when you're transporting it to work or school or wherever. So what I'm going to add in there is just a couple of tomatoes, and I've got a little pick here with 2 ends. You'll find quite a lot of little picks like this just online. They're quite a cute little addition to bento boxes. They just make it a little bit more pretty. So I'm adding 2 colours, 2 different colours of tomato there on the same leaf, and we're just gonna fit that in to the remaining space. So that's the space all filled now, but it's still looking a little bit bland, so we're going to add a couple more things just to spruce it up. So I'm just going to add in the garnishes that I mentioned at the beginning. So we're going to add in the spring onion. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the pork and the rice. And I'm also going to get the sesame seeds and just sprinkle them over the top. I'm just going to add that to the pork and not to the rice because they're not really going to show up on the rice, the white sesame seeds. But you could maybe use black sesame seeds instead, and then that would come up on the rice. And last but not least, just a cute little addition. I've got some little carrot hearts which I've cut out just using a cutter, and I'm just going to add 2 of them into the rice. There we go. Oh, doesn't that look cute? So I've taken quite a simple dish there and just sort of spruced it up to make it a nice, visually appealing lunchbox. And as you can see, it was quite simple to make, so I really hope you give it a try at home as well. So as always, thanks very much for watching to the end. If, as I said at the beginning, you do like the idea of sort of global cuisines being represented in bento boxes, then please let me know and I'll try out some more recipes, some more bento boxes, either on Instagram or more tutorials here on YouTube. And if you'd like a specific global cuisine represented, then please let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. And if you've not got time to comment, just give us a like and that'll at least let me know that you liked the video. And of course, if you'd like to see more content from me in the future, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when I make a new video. But for now, cheerio, bye! welcome to More Time in the Kitchen. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a spicy Korean pork kimchi. Oh my god, why is it so difficult to say?